We're going to head now up here towards the Canadian border, which is a little while yet. I think it's about 20 miles past Chicken, and we'll see how that goes, because in these days of post-COVID, of course, things are a little bit different. There's an app that you have to use. I think it's called ArriveCan, that you have to upload your COVID vaccination details to, which we have done, and of course your passport. So we'll see how that works. It looks like we're going to be slightly in convoy for this bit, which is might be a good thing. We'll see. Anyway, let's see how this bit goes. Cheerio, Chicken. Nice knowing you. And onto the dirt. Going to leave a bit of a gap purely because of the amount of dust that the bikes in front throw up. No point in getting too close. Wow, what a view off to the right. Absolutely stunningsville. Well, it's a stroke of luck that we're doing this trail, this road today rather than 3 days ago when all that rain was around, because this would have just been a muddy quagmire and we'd have ended up getting particularly messy, I imagine. But this sort of dusty stuff isn't too bad. Just kind of got to go with the flow. But I learnt a valuable lesson to myself. I left my visor open for the first half a mile, and I've now got a bit of a crunch going on in my teeth, so I'm going to be leaving the visor down from now on, I think. I think I shall be using the back brake more than the front. So this section of today's ride is known as the top of the world highway, and Carol and I were discussing earlier as to why it might be called that, but we couldn't come to any conclusions other than it's probably quite high. But we don't know the actual reasons or how high it is. But I think we can surmise that with a name like that there's going to be some good views. And it might get a bit chilly, which actually would be a good thing, because I'm absolutely cooking in the multiple layers that I've got on, and it's actually 60 degrees up here at the moment. So I think this is the first time on the trip that we've all, bar one bike, been together, or bar two in fact. So we've got, what, 4 bikes ahead of me, and what can I see in the mirror at the moment? 2 or 3 behind, which is rather fun. Oh, a bit of hairpin on the gravel, why not? Actually, I've done worse in Spain. But then I didn't have somebody on the back, so that adds a whole new dimension. Oh, it's like riding on a washboard. However, not wishing to talk anything up, but actually riding on this dirt is a lot easier than riding on that gravel was earlier. If it's like this all the way, okay, it might be a bit slow going because we're only doing sort of 30, 35 miles an hour. But at least it's fairly straightforward. Well, this is a pretty cool convoy we've got. We've got 3 bikes behind, 4 in front. Looking good. That is a look at that moment. Look at that. That is just stunning. Incredible. This is an absolutely stunning road, and we've only just started it, this top of the world highway. Amazing road. I think already on this trip, I was laying in bed last night thinking about this, about where the best place I've ridden in the world. There's no doubt the previous trip that I did with Motorrad Tours to Norway was top. That was the best riding I've ever done over a period of days, you know. I think this is up there with it, even already, and we're only on day 2 of the riding. This is just absolutely stunning here. Every corner you turn around, look at it. Beauty overload. Look at this little creek here. Unbelievable. I mean, it's not great because the riding's great, although it is. I mean, most of the roads, those big sweeping bends have been lovely. But it's just great because of just the nature around you, of which I'm sure we're going to get a whole lot more yet. South Fork River. Fantastic. JR's favourite. Look at that, all a bit of kayaking and a bit of airboating. Why not? Why not? Well, we certainly seem to be gaining some altitude now. I've no idea what height we're at. Unfortunately, I can't control my sat-nav with the thumb wheel on this bike like I can on the one at home. I don't know if it's because I brought my own GPS or because it's the lower spec bike or what, but I'm not too familiar with what these buttons do, so I don't want to press them around and mess up my routing. But normally I'd have an altimeter and I could tell how I am, but we'll have to guess here. But it's a good couple of thousand feet down there, I would say. Well, 1500 maybe. Whatever it is, You don't get this sort of thing in the Chilterns. Suddenly got into a more gravelly section with the bike squirreling around a little bit underneath, but just trying to keep relaxed, and the bike seems to do its own thing. I found the trick with this is to keep in a low enough gear that the bike is always under power. That seems to help. And then using the rear brake obviously instead of the front, so you're avoiding those nasty front end washouts on the corners in particular. We'll give them a bit of space because of the dust that they're kicking up. It does feel a bit like I'm riding on ice, I have to say. Oh, bit of bridge action, bit of respite from the gravel. Nice. Cool. Making the traction control work here on this stuff. Makes you wonder if it's worth turning that off actually. Just because it makes life a bit harder when the back end's scrabbling for grip a bit. We'll see how we go with that. Now we see why it's called the top of the world highway. Look at this view. Oh look, the end of the dirt for a bit. Fantastic. Don't know how long that's going to last, but just a little bit of a respite. Not that it was particularly hard, but it does mean you have to just concentrate that bit much more on the dirt. But look at this now. This road is absolutely perfect. It couldn't be any better, could it? Snaking through across the top of these mountains. What a jaw dropper. Right, just had a quick stop and got rid of a layer because I was absolutely cooking. We've only got about 5 miles to the Canadian border now. I haven't got a lot of battery power left, so the camera could cut out, as it often does, but next thing of major interest to us at least is crossing that border, seeing how hard that is. I'm not expecting it to be hard at all, but of course in these post-COVID times sometimes you can be surprised, can't you? But we'll see. But until we get there, just enjoy this road. I mean, look at this. We're getting some serious height now. I'm probably going to regret taking my fleece off, it's bound to cool down, but oh, what an absolute corker. Such a great sky now with those clouds over there as well, just gives it a bit more interest. It just looks amazing through my sunglasses. I hope it looks good through the GoPro camera. What a road. 6th gear for the first time for a while. Another look at that moment. This view is just mega. Wow. Just a vastness of nature. Alright, 1 mile to the border by the looks of it. So that'll be cheerio to the USA for a little bit until we rejoin it. After we've been through the Rockies in British Columbia, we rejoin back, I think in Washington State first. Or it could be Montana, we'll see. Anyway, for now, we've got Canada to come. Right, we just crossed a time zone. And this looks distinctly border-like. Let's see what goes on here. Right, may have to turn the camera off for this. So here we are at the border crossing into Canada, a place called Little Gold Creek, or Little Gold Creek, yeah.
Ooh, take these out then. Ooh, nice. Yeah, I don't like wearing them.
But we seem to have all found ourselves together, so it's maybe a little bit protracted, but I think it's going to be straightforward. Right, so that's the border crossing formalities completed. That was absolutely Straightforward, as anticipated. No checks on the US side, just a check of your passport, which key would help. Coming into Canada. So thank you, Alaska. It's been a blast. Fantastic. Right, that's it for Alaska. Hello, the Yukon. And look, there's a sign. Right, duly group snapped at the Yukon sign. We've now got about 50-60 miles of more dirt road to the Yukon ferry to cross the mighty river Yukon, which will be quite something. So yeah, can't wait for that. Right, let's get out of here then. Nothing coming. Right, you're entering a different time zone. So we've just lost an hour, I think. I had a cunning plan by getting away first so we're not in everybody else's dust. We'll see how well that works out. I'm sure there's some faster riders than us that'll overtake, but hey ho. Right, 65 miles. And this is quite gravelly as well. Well, hello Canada, it's nice to be back. It's been a few years. It's been about 15 years since I was in Canada. Long overdue. Pretty squirrely this gravel. My word. I think I'll just take it very easy. Wow, look at that view. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, the Yukon. Wow. It's even more spectacular than Alaska. Right, we'll settle into the ride. Head towards that ferry. Wow, this is just something else, this valley. I'm sure the GoPro won't create the impression because they never do quite, but this is absolutely vast. This is a big bit of scenery, I have to say. Unbelievable. Now sadly we've let ourselves down a bit with the research on this. We've got a pretty feeling this is the area of the Klondike Gold Rush. Certainly it's all about gold round here, and I'm sure we'll see more about that when we get to Dawson City. But that is why these roads exist, I think. It's like riding on marbles on this bit, which is not ideal. So maybe we'll just concentrate on that for a bit. So I was just checking the route guidance to see how far to the ferry, and it's about 62 miles. We're doing about, you know, between 30 and 40 miles an hour. So it's going to be an hour and a half probably to get us there. And then that's pretty much, I think, the ferry crossing across the Yukon River. Then you're pretty much in Dawson City, so which is where our hotel is and where we're staying tonight. So that'll be amazing. We've lost that hour, which hasn't helped. So I'm not sure what the time is now. 3:15 actually, local time. So we should be getting there, well, before 5 o'clock anyway, so that's absolutely fine. And as we didn't have much for lunch, other than that bit of splendid sherry pie, it might be time to find us a beer and something to eat. But how amazing is this? I mean, when you're doing these trips, you don't quite believe, understand, absorb how incredible it is. Look, there is no one in front of us, behind us, anywhere can we see anyone else. And we're in the Yukon, for goodness sake. How did that happen? Well, however it happened, I'm glad it did, because this is absolutely amazing riding. So me and Carol were just discussing this trip and how amazing it is, and this scenery and everything else. The scale of the place is just awesome. That's a word I don't use very often, but this properly is awesome. And how this trip compares to the last one we did on the bike, which was our trip to Luxembourg, our 5 countries in 5 days trip. I mean, a completely different experience. You know, when you're doing those European trips, they're great fun, and you can stop a lot more. You don't have to do such big distances, and you can stop in cafes and things. And I love all that too. And I'm not saying one is better than the other. They're both amazing, but in a completely different way. Look at the mountain range at the back there. which I'm assuming is the start of the Rockies, of which much more later in the tour. But yeah, this is just a different sort of experience to those bike tours that you do in Europe, which we love and we will be doing more of. But this is just on another level. It's like the volume's been turned up in terms of the scenery. But you ain't going to be stopping every hour for a nice coffee and a fancy meal. This just goes on forever. It's brilliant. Must be our road there. See some dust kicking up on the trail over there. You may not see it on the GoPro, but there's either something been through recently or coming our way, so just using it as a bit of a clue to take it easy around here. Stick on my side of the road just in case there's something going to pass us. Perhaps it's just something that was going in the same direction as us after all. Top of the world golf course. That's incredible. I'm by no means a golfist, but I find it quite amazing that there's enough people to come and play golf up here. This was a masterstroke, leaving the border first. And I'm just not getting covered in dust like it was. Brilliant. Just on this section now, we've got a great view of the road going round. Still on the top of the world highway. This is still that part, and it's still gravel and dirt, but it's damp. It's obviously been raining here more recently than when we were in Alaska, and it's had the effect of actually making it much easier to ride on. It's not much different to riding on tarmac here, which is brilliant. But just absolutely stunning views over that way, and it looks like that's the way we're going. Another 39 miles to the ferry. Looking forward to the first beer of the day. It's what's the time now? 3:42, so it's 4:45 Canadian time, 3:45 Alaskan time. We left at 9:30. Probably got another hour to do. I can't do the maths, but it feels like it's been another fairly long day on the bike. But it's been another absolutely cracking down the bike. I'm not complaining. It's been an awesome ride again. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Despite the aching bones, it's all worth it. Oh, there's a car. Goodness me. Tempted to wave at it, just because I haven't seen one for so long. So sadly my camera battery let me down once again, just as we were getting to the river crossing, but we're on the ferry now, crossing the mighty Yukon. Check this out, it's just amazing. Well folks, sadly my battery ran out at a critical time as we got to the Yukon ferry, but Carol managed to do a little bit of filming on her iPhone, so hopefully that looked okay. But anyway, welcome to Dawson City. Look at this, how cool is this? We're just looking for some fuel actually before we then find our hotel. So just randomly riding along. This is a pucker western town, isn't it? Incredible. I'm liking this. What I'd like even more is if we can find a fuel station though. Right, I've cunningly put in a Shell station on the sat-nav. Let's go and get some hopper juice, because tomorrow we've got a long day again and we don't want to be going anywhere without a full tank when we start the day. Right, looking for 5th Avenue. Look at these buildings. What a cool place. Brilliant. It's right on the right there, that would help. I'm assuming this is 5th Avenue. Wow, I've never been anywhere like this in my life. This is cool. What a fun place. Have you seen fuel, Carol? Oh, there it is, missed it. Bugger. Let's do a Yui, Mr. Fuel. Try not to drop the bike as we're going for the fuel. Right, fill up, get to the hotel. We'll speak to you when we're there, show you where we're staying here. Alright, so welcome to the downtown hotel in Dawson City. Looks like this out the window. Not too much to see, except it's a bit sort of Wild Westy. This is the actual room. We've got 2 beds again, so we can relax. Amazing. Did you do your usual tour, my beautiful assistant?
Bedroom?
Okay, go.
Bathroom. So, woo! Basic, functional,
it works.
clean.
Switch, wrong way around. They do that in Canada as well, it turns out. But anyway, what the heck. So, it's time we had a beer, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, we'll see you tomorrow morning where we are. Well, we'll tell you about that tomorrow morning.
Bye.
Ignore these 2 chatting here. Check out this place, it's incredible. Morning. There's actual saloon doors in there. Not that you can see them, but it's pucker Wild West stuff. Is it breakfast time then?
Yeah.
Come on then. See you there. Well, it's dawned a beautiful morning here in Dawson City. It's just coming up to 7 o'clock. We're heading for a quick breakfast because apparently a tourist bus came in yesterday, and that means there'll be nowhere available for breakfast because it's not a big place here. I think about 1,500 people live here at the moment.
Yep.
In the days of the gold rush, it was 30,000, which is absolutely incredible. Let me just show you down this street. Ooh, bit of fog over the mountains there. This is the hotel we stayed at last night, the downtown hotel, and there are our bikes parked out the front there. It's an amazing little town, isn't it, Carol? It's quite something.
Something out of the Wild West. Well, it is. They're all original, redone, original buildings.
Restored, I think is the word we're looking for.
I was going to say, it makes no sense, does it?
Anyway, we're going to get some breakfast and then we shall jump on the bikes. We've got a long day today. We're off to Whitehorse. It's about 340 miles on the bike, so hence the early start. Old shoulders are starting to give me a bit of jip, but I'm trying not to think about it. Anyway, we'll see you on the bike shortly.